I know, I love it. All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy July. Super excited to be here with you all today. It is just a minute past the hour now, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a packed session, so we'll waste no time. My name is Heather Grant. I am one of the community admins at the Maintenance Community by Upkeep. Thank you for making the time to be with us today. If you are not already a member of the maintenance community on Slack, I will drop the link in the chat on how to sign up right now. We would love to have you join us. Today we have the one and only Ramesh Gulati joining for a presentation on standards and standardization, standardization, and ISO 55000. I will let him introduce himself in just a moment, but I know we're in for a great presentation today. The recording from our session will be available at this link actually right after we end, as well as in the maintenance community on Slack, along with a copy of the slides that you see here today. Ramesh himself is actually also available to answer questions live in the Slack group, so please feel free to share the recording of this webinar or the invitation to Slack directly with friends, colleagues, or anyone else you know who would benefit from hearing some of Ramesh's expertise. My last piece of housekeeping before we go ahead and get started, if you have any questions throughout the presentation today, you'll use the chat feature on the right-hand side of your screen here. We also have a couple of polls that will launch over in that right-hand panel. So please feel free to pop in there and say hello right now. I heard a couple of people already in there. So feel free to use that for questions. We'll answer anything that comes through at the end of the presentation. Anything we don't get to, we will answer offline in the community. So please feel free to ask away. That is it from me. Thank you again for being here. Thank you, Ramesh, for making time to join us. And I will turn it over to you to get us started.
Thank you, Heather. Greetings, my friends. I don't know where you are. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever. This is Ramesh Gulati, and you're going to stuck with me for another hour. Hopefully, it'll be useful. So let's go. Today's my agenda is I'm going to talk about limits of safety, and then why standards, are the standard best practices, standardization, and then I'm going to talk about asset management related standards, especially ISO 55000. And I added a little bit about certification because a lot of people ask me all the time, CRL, CMRP, and all these certification, what's the value? So I've got a couple of slides there. Then I'm going to close up with the lessons learned and takeaways and conclusion. This is about me. I've been around many years. I started as a maintenance engineer many years ago in a large foundry. And I've been around, as I said, what variety of industry. But maintenance has been there I got into reliability and asset management to speak. Okay. I'm kind of a semi-retired. I worked for Jacobs for 38, 39 years. And before that, I worked for some other companies, Carrier, Two Temper, Engineering. I've been part of US ISO 55000 committee. I've been with them 10, 12 years. Started with ISO 55000 when we started, 2009-10 time frame. So that's about me, and people call me Reliability Sherpa, and I worked and got a few awards here and there. Okay, this is my question to you guys. What are the top 2 safety violations for 2020? And let's see. Here she's going to.
Yeah, the poll is live over in the polls tab. So on that right-hand side of your screen where you see the chat, you'll be able to toggle to questions or polls as well. Go ahead and into polls. We'll need to submit an answer before we can see the responses come in. I'll keep an eye on that, Ramesh, and maybe we'll pause for just a minute or so and watch the answers come in. Awesome. We have just about a third of the people with us here who have answered. So if you haven't
Okay.
answered the poll yet, I encourage you to go on over to that polls tab. We'll wait another minute or so.
There's only one answer right, so don't say two. I see B and C and some others typing A and C. Just give answer. A, B, C, D, E, or F.
Seems like the responses in the chat are pretty spread. We have a lot of C's coming in there.
Yeah.
Over in the poll in the polls tab, the number one answer was fall protection and hazard communication, getting about 35% of the vote. So that's
Okay.
B.
Okay.
The next up was C, lockout, tagout, and fall protection. And then third place was fall protection, training, and machine guarding.
Okay. Hey guys, you did pretty good. The B is the right answer. Let me go to my next slide. B is the right answer, fall protection and hazard communication. There's been, in fact, these two, a safety site violation has been there last 2 years. These are 10 top most frequently cited violation by OSHA in the US. And if I compare these last 2 years, 2019 and 2020, again, those two have been. I hope you guys understand what fall protection is. Most of you do. Hazard communication is about people not understanding the hazard, especially on your chemical bottles. There's something in the back. How that chemical should be used. That communication is missing. People don't understand what precaution they have to, safety precaution they have to do. Okay. Thank you very much. Again, my talk. Whenever I try to relay reliability and safety together. They go hand in hand. As you become reliable, you become more safer because you do things, whatever you're doing to your task in a planned fashion, in a better way. If you are rushing things, a lot of failures, you are not safer. Okay? So reliable plant, a safer plant, a reliable plant become more profitable plant. This is a motto I use all the time. Live as if you were to. Oh, you die tomorrow, learn if you want to live forever. In fact, nowadays I'm learning a lot more than I used to in the past. A lot to learn. So this is kind of I'm going backward or forward? Okay, yeah. Sorry. This is my introduction, what I'm going to do, what are Y standards, our standards of best practices, standardization, assessment-related standards, certification, lessons learned, and takeaways. What comes to mind when we think about standards and standardization? Think about it. What comes to mind? What should vision when somebody calls standards? When I think about standards, these are kind of things come to my mind. There is here, you think USB port. Many years ago, we had a problem connecting computers, transferring the data, and standardization of USB port made it much easier. Have you thought about traffic lights? That's standard. Your garden hose, your toys, that's standard for safety. Have you thought about drill bits in your plant? Shoes, cosmetics, all are governed by some kind of a standard, which makes them more safer. Without standards, things won't work. History standard, how standards started. Cylindrical stones in Egypt and India long time ago. The yard, King Henry's length of form on was yard. Boston brick manufacturing back in 1600 started standardizing size of the brick. US railroad system. The whole standardization really started this Baltimore fire in 1904. They had a fire in downtown Baltimore and it was burning. They have fire trucks from Baltimore plus Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., New York, all around surrounding big community. They came, but they couldn't help. You know why? Those days, fire hydrants were non-standard. They won't fit on each other's. Every city has their own standard. That was a kind of a turning point. Hey, we have to do something standardizing things so they fit properly. And that's what NC, American National Institute Standard, was founded or born. That time it was called different. 4 or 5 societies got together. Hey, we have to do something. So what is the standard? Standard is a prescribed set of rules, conditions, requirements, classification components, specification of material, delineation of procedures, measurement of quantity, quality, those kind of things. Simply established by the authority, custom, general consent, or model, a point of reference or rule of for the measure of quantity, weight, value, quantity kind of thing. That's the standard. This kind of I thought I'll put some definition so we all understand. Standard is established norm or requirement generally presented in a formal document. Establishes uniform technical criteria, method, process, practice. Standardization, process of making something conform to a standard. That's the standardization. Certification, result of meeting the established criteria, requirement of accrediting or certificate granting organization. A best practice, what is the best practice? A technique, method, process that is more effective at delivering a desired outcome than anything else. So that practice usually becomes a benchmark. Okay? So that's kind of a thing of our main uh, terms. We're going to talk about that. You know, in US, many of us fly Southwest airline. What's unique about Southwest? People from US, if you think about what's about this airline has been very successful. Have been making a lot of airlines have been in red, they have been black making some money. Interesting thing about Southwest is they have only one kind of plane, Boeing 737. One kind of plane. Think about standardization in your place, in your plant factory. I call it place of value, Gamba, which is Japanese word. I love that word, Gamba. The place where value is generated. Think about your place, having a PLC, which I see a lot of places I go, that's a problem. They tell me, they have a 10 kind of PLC, top types of PLC, and they have to get educated or train people on those PLC. Think about if you have only 1 or 2 types. Think about valves, cylinders, pumps, UPS, motor controls, breakers, all if you can standardize them. So you have a minimum number. See the training part and your technical ability of your people of taking care of those. If you have a lot of them, boy, they have to learn all of them. So there is an advantage of benefit of standardization. Streamline the deployment procedures, simplified procedures, reduced training, low inventory. You don't have to carry many parts, all those kind of things. Now, there are 3 things in today's talk. We are going to codes, standards, and specification. Codes are enforceable by law and contract. Mostly are written by government body or somebody. Standards are globally accepted how to do instructions. Most of them are written by public organization or body of government body or maybe. These are set of technical definition guidelines for manufacturing of processes. And some of the organizations like ASTM, SAE, ISO, BSI are the company I'm going to talk a little bit more. These are organizations who develop standards. Specifications are written requirements by contract. When we want to buy something, we write a specification, and that's what we want. And mostly these are the commercial or private organizations, they write those specifications. There are two kinds of standards, voluntary and mandatory. Voluntary standards are developed by private sector body, used by private, commercial, public, known as the industry standard or consensus standards. These are adopted by all type of organization. Example, your traffic signals are standard ISO 16508, which were adopted by the countries, then by the states, then by the cities. And they adopt that standard and that's what they follow. So we follow all the traffic lights. Red means stop. Yellow means say cautious. Or your signal signs on the roads, stop signs and those kind of signs. They are all have been standardized and we follow all over the world. Like your bill sizes, you know, footwear, shoe sizes and safety issues of those. They are ASTM standard for that. All cleanliness standard, ISO 4406 kind of things are used, which help us to do the right thing. Many times we take these things for granted, but somebody like us have worked on those many years ago. Then there is a mandatory standards. They require compliance because the government statute or regulations like OSHA and FPA, air water permits, those kind of things. There are organizations, standards development organization, STO core. Every country has a standards body. Like in US, we have NC, which is the official government recognized LC, which takes care of all the standards. But there are a lot of other organizations within the US, within NC and separate, like IEEE and FPA, SME, who develop standards. UK has a BSI, Canada has CSA, Germany DNI. So all different countries have their own standards organization which coordinate all the activities. Then there are some international organizations like ISO, IEC. These are international organization which supports or develop some of the standards. Standards we can categorize in 8 types: dimensions, performance, methods, management, symbols, terminology, product, basic. So these are kind of 8 different categories we can put them standard. What we're going to talk today, we're going to talk about the management system standards, which we are asset, energy, environmental, quality. Those are the management standards. That's what we're going to talk today. We're going to put focus on those. Right? Now, because most of we are from maintenance and asset management, take care of our assets, our equipment. So these are in my mind, these are standards which are related to asset management, equipment related, the management process related. Many years ago, about 2004 to 2005 time frame or 9, that time past 55, which is a publicly available specification, came from BSI, British Standard Institute, was about that was early stages of asset management. Okay, in fact, I have used in 2004 time frame, there was nothing. I used 9000, the quality management standard, and used as an asset management standard back those days. So next one is 9000 quality management standard, which is a really, you can call granddaddy of all the management standard, quality standard. 9000. In fact, 9000 came in 1985, 87 time frame. And before that, there was a BSI standard something there, and but that's kind of is a basic standard 9000. And most of the time in ISO terminology, 9000, these are series of standard. When I put X there are several standards. But there's a one standard, which is a you have to get if you want to get certified. That's called usually they donated with 9001, 14001, 55001. That's a standard which has a shell statement. Means if you want to get certification, that's what you have to use, and auditable, you have to comply those requirements. Other standards, 9002, 9003, those are kind of supporting standard which have more details. I'll talk about that too. So these are 9000, the quality management standard, which are the largest standard used in worldwide. 14,000 is the environmental management standard. 26,000 is social responsibility. 27,000 is the information security. 31,000 risk management. 45,000, which is a new, is the occupational health and safety, which is the equivalent to in US, North America, OSHA. 50,000 energy management. 55,000 is asset management. I will talk a little bit more about that. Okay. Other standard which we should be aware or going to be very, very helpful is 4406, which is a hydraulic fluid power, oil cleanliness, and 14224, which is a petroleum petrochemical, but it really is a more on asset hierarchy related that on equipment, how to set up your asset hierarchy kind of thing and terminology. Okay. Now, quality management SA is the granddaddy of all the standards. The right side, these are every management standard. That's also ISO has standardized all the management standard. These every one of them has a 10 sections or clauses. The left side, I'm talking about these are the management principles: customer focus, leadership, engagement of people, process approach, improvement. So these are kind of things are the focus principles. Principles of quality management system. Like here, the detail about 9001. Again, all ISO standards are based on plan, do, check, act principle of Deming. That's what they are. So the first, the clause 4, 5, 6, 7 is all this. That's kind of a planning. 8 is operation, performance evaluation, and the last one is improvement, which act. That's 14,001 framework of PDCA cycle. So the right side again, these right side, these framework, these are kind of a focus area or the principles. Those are kind of different with the different standards. The left side kind of key things, how they go, they act a little bit different way, but these are kind of things we go plan, define business objective, define risk assessment, methodology, manage information, implement risk control, monitor major controls, non-conformance kind of thing. That's what that is. Okay. This is 31,000. Again, you're talking communication and consultation, monitoring, scope, context, criteria, and there are risk assessment, risk identification, risk analysis, risk evaluation, kind of thing. 55,000, which really we all of us should be interested because that's an asset management standard. Now, there are 3 standards. I'm going to go to 55,000, 55,001, and 55,002. 55,000 is a requirement standard. I think I got, yeah. That's a standard we need to be focusing on, or which we need to comply with. All of these has a shell statement that when you want to get certified, that's what auditor is going to come and look all the requirements in there, say how you are complying with those requirements. 55,000 is a overview of principal terminology, a kind of you can call it a marketing document, why we are doing this asset management. 55,000 is a more guidelines, some more example explanation how to do the thing. Okay. These three standards came, we I think we finished in 2014. 55,000 had a little problem, so it was fixed in 2018. Currently, we are the committee of Viva, say, I'm part of the committee. We are going through revising 55,000 and 55,001. Every 5 to 7 years, we have to go back and update our standard. Another thing, when we write a standard, the experts, in fact, our committee, worldwide committee from all the countries which represent this, have the best people they can get in that particular area, and they write the standard. So they write kind of what are the best practices, what we should be, how we can make our process better, excellent. That's what they write those requirements. So if we do our assessment or do things that comply with those standards, we are implementing the best practices. This is some relationship from ISO document. You have asset, and from asset, we go to asset portfolio, to asset management system, to asset management, and the management organization. See, asset management is a coordinating activity of organization to realize value from asset. The whole thing of asset management is we want to get more value from our asset. That's what we want, more value from our asset. So our total cost of ownership of the asset is reduced. This is a 55,000 and PDCA cycle. These are, again, I said, these are 10 clauses. And on the left side, you got all the, support organization, performance evaluation, leadership, how in a little bit better format, so easy to understand. That's what that is showing. Okay. These are more details about 55,001. Again, I said the first three are common to all the standards, the same thing. Here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 will be different standard. These context organization title is same, but underneath may be small changes. Like context organization. If you read the standard, you won't find any terms, maintenance or reliability in it. What they want is what standard want is you have to tell the system that what you make, how you make, what your system is, what the scope of asset management should be, how big you are, how small you are. So you have to define that. Okay. Then you have to come up, overall, that's what, then once you define or tell the system what you make, how you make, and what kind of assets you have, and what's your plan for next 2, 3, 5 years, how you make it more, you tell them how you take care of that gap, improvements where you have to make. So every year when a auditor comes, he's going to ask you, hey, what changes you have made, what improvements you are making, so you are meeting the objective of asset management. So you have to define those kind of things. Then there's a leadership commitment, policy. Hey, you have asset management policy, which is really comes from the top management. And how do you drive that policy? How you came up that process? There's a planning process. What are your objectives? How you meet your objective? What are your plans to meet those objectives? Then there is a strategic asset management plan or asset management plan. Strategically, how you're thinking for next 5, 7, 10 years of what you're going to do about your asset. Your support, how you're supporting resources, competence of your people, how you're making sure you have the right people, how you're communicating, What's your information requirement? Do you have a CMMS system? What kind of CMMS system? And are you getting the information from there? You know, operation, change management. How are you taking care of change? Are you outsourcing? Then how you're making sure if you have outsourced, the people who are doing the work has the proper qualifications or the proper documentation they are doing it. Doesn't mean, hey, outsourcing is not bad, but you have to make sure people who are going, you have outsourced, the company who is doing that have right people, or they have right safety kind of thing they are doing it, right process they are using it. That's also it's your obligation or requirement. Okay. Then you have to have internal audit, management review, and then finally, hey, they will look into somebody comes and how much improvements you have to make you are making. Again, you don't have to get compliant with 55,001. You can establish a system and do all these things, may not get certification. It's up to you. If you think it's important for you, go ahead. If you many times your client may ask you, hey, how your process is. Have you in compliance with it? In my mind, what we got certified with DNV. When he came, 2003, we got asset man 4, we got asset management process established, and for 12 years, we were when I was 12 years, we were certified. And every time we made our process better and better and better. Was it easy? No. We have to work hard. We have to get it done. But once we're done, after a couple of years, 2, 3 years, we started to see the difference. Other thing, 44 or 6 standard, which is all cleanness. Now, I have to tell you something on this one. We had a lot of problem in our valves. We had a lot kind of valves, smaller, 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 2 inch, 5. Those are standard. We had a valve, air valves, which was 6 feet in diameter, 10 feet in diameter. In fact, the largest was 12 feet in diameter. Pretty large valve with the hydraulic operating. We were having a lot of failures. After investigation, after we set up our asset management process and start looking into, we found that we put our committee together. Hey, why these failures happening? And one of the key things we found, our oil was dirty. In fact, incoming new oil was dirty, and we didn't meet this. So we have to establish our cleanliness code requirements. Like here on the left side, I'm showing you ISO number. See, ISO number, the higher, the dirtier oil. The lower the number, the cleaner oil. Like here, if you have a servo valve, your oil should be cleaner between 161411 or 151309. That's the way your quality of your oil should be. So all these standards helps you to put best practices in place. Your 14224, when you set up your asset hierarchy in your CMMS system, whatever CMM system, you have to set up hierarchy. If those hierarchies are not right, you will have a problem in getting the information out or in putting the information in. This is one example from there. How do you start? The first 4 or 5 things are user location wide. You may have a large company worldwide, then you go to industry and business category, installation plan. So first 4 or 5 things are getting the equipment, where it's located. And then once you got it, then you have to start thinking a level 1, level 2, level 3, or when we were doing it many years ago, people who were really reliability guy, he wanted to know, he went all the 8th or 9th level of hierarchy, but then people couldn't find it. Then some people went pretty high level. So pretty high level, only 1 level. Everything was dumped in level 1. You couldn't figure it out what's happening. Everything was dumped. Or if you have 2 deeper, That's not good either. What we found out was kind of thing here. What we are saying is you may have asset level one, level two, maybe level three. Then you go to component and beyond M item, bill of material. Then you go to the bearing numbers beyond M item number. So those are much better approaches. But this standard 140 to 24 helps you to put those things right. Benefits of standards. Standards are powerful tool for organization all sizes, whether small or big. They implement or maintain best practices. Standards are the best practices. Support safety of people, environment, improve productivity, reduce costs, attract and assure customers, demonstrate market leadership, create competitive advantage. This is a again, most of these documents which I'm showing you is in my book. I'm going to give you a reference that came out from there. Uh, these are some kind of in general, a type of standard terminology, compatibility, performance, different kind of standards, a technical effective value, economic benefits kind of a table I got from the Danish Standards Foundation from there. Okay, here's a second question for you guys. Poll question. Heather,
Yep, the poll is now live over in that polls tab.
Heather, you can put that question to them, please.
Yep, it's live now, posted in the polls tab, so people can go ahead and look on over to answer it. We'll,
Heather, you got it?
Yes, can you hear me, Ramesh? Hello.
Heather, are you there? I'm missing you.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can anyone else confirm if they can hear me or not?
Technical difficulty here.
Oh no. Okay, good.
All right. Looks like somehow there's a technical difficulty. I cannot get hold of. Heather is typing. Okay.
Can you hear me now,
The
Ramesh?
poll is live. She says poll is live. She cannot hear it, but so you guys go. D E. Okay. Yeah. E. None of above. C. Only 4. Oh, there's only one. There's only 4. Certain. But okay. That's the same. A, B, and D. All right. Heather, your phone. I cannot hear you, Heather.
Can you hear me now? Let me try a different microphone.
B. Okay, let's see how she closes the poll, then we'll see what the results are.
Ramesh, can you hear me now?
Looks like B. A lot of people have a B. Quality policy and environmental policy. A, B, and D. I'm surprised. Some had a D. That's good. I like it. Heather, your microphone is off.
Can you hear me now?
Can't hear you. Okay, Will you stop the poll and see what's the.
Yes. So number one, I'll type this into the chat in a moment so Ramesh can hear me as well, or get this info as well. We have 1 and 2 as our lead answer.
All right. I think we are having a little bit problem. And what I see the results that a lot of people, most of you have A and B, quality policy and environmental policy. And very few of you have a sustainability policy, and also very few of you have asset management policy. I see one comment, hey, just having a policy doesn't mean you have asset management. That's right. Again, you have to do the things, policy is one thing, but getting the whole process working, that's another thing. Okay. So I'm going to go to my next slide. I hope. Okay. Okay. Point is, many of the organizations have some kind of a quality policy or environmental policy. Many of the organizations don't have any policy on asset management or sustainability. Assets are key thing which produce value, but we don't have any policy how we're going to take care of our assets. That's a point I'm trying to make. I think our whole committee, we are working how we can give that message to the companies that, hey, assets which delivers the value. Without having a good asset management process, you cannot do the right things. You can make sure asset management process or policy will or management process will help you. Implementing of that standard will help you to ensure you are having assets available timely fashion, the time where you want to meet the needs. Now, to setting up a standard asset management process, you need to establish an implementation team, which may consist of maintenance, operation, engineering, design, material, operations. Then use a SciPAC tool to identify input output to asset management process. Chart map the process. Use again SWOT chart, strength, weakness, opportunity, threats to identify areas to focus. And then you can use 55,001 as a framework or 9,001 as a framework to set up your policy, procedure, work instruction, guidelines, standard template, those kinds. Have a good communication. Work standards compliance audit process, internal, external. Then maybe you make a decision once you have done, gain the experience, then you can decide whether you want to get certified. If you want to get certified, great. Select a consultant or registrar who can acquire and then get the certification. Then some auditor will come from outside and they will look the process and they'll say if you are meeting or are you in compliance with the standard, then you get a certification. So there's a process for that. Okay. Again, in my mind, which I've gone through this establishing asset management process, a disciplined approach of doing things, procedure, instructions, standardized and documented. We know what we are doing and why we are doing it. Access to current and right information. You know, this I cannot forget. When we establish our estimate process, simple thing like procedure, maintenance procedure, PM procedure. Best practice was this procedure was in a cabinet. When CMMS turns out, hey, we have to do this PM today. Supervisor go pulls out from cabinet and give to the guy, go and do this. That's a no. You don't know that procedure is current procedure, is the right procedure. All those. So in the new standard, you have to throw out those cabinets. You have to print when procedure instruction from your CMMS say today is due or tomorrow is going to be due. Same time, you have to print that procedure for that. So it is current procedure. So those are kind of things you have to set it up. Auditing requirement, third part, third eye, can ensure that we are doing what you said we are doing and we are doing continuous improvement. Then you set up a process council ensure the visibility engagement of all the stakeholders. Okay, so that's kind of give you a big picture of standards. What's the standardization mean, and what's the 55,000 it has in it. Okay. Now, let me talk a little bit about certification. What is a certification? I'm talking professional certification. Certification is results of meeting the established criteria requirement of accrediting or certificate granting organization. We are talking certification like CRL, CRE, CMM, CAMA, CMRP, CRT, MRT, vibration level 1, 3, 4, infrared, ultrasonic, all those kind of certification. Certification demonstrates your commitment to superior professionalism, holding industry standard, and continuous learning. I got involved with certification many, many years ago. In fact, all my people, we were sending them to go. Started our reliability journey back in mid 90s, and we were sending our people to get educated, university, different places. Then question was raised to me, or I thought about it. Hey, how do I know that my people are getting the knowledge? You know, how do we know? So we started looking. I started looking into different universities, different places, how I can measure the skill set of my people, or are they grasping the knowledge when we send to the training or the conference or all these places? We could find. So with my friends in industry, I got involved with SMRP and later on with other organizations to develop this certification standards. That's what became CMRP, CRT, CMRT, CRE, CRL was quality. I know I'm CRL, also CRL. So all these came from there. So that says benefit of certification is realize a competitive advantage, boost efficiency, grow knowledge, establishes professional credibility, boost prestige, all kind of things happen. So certification, really one time we had over 100 people, all my management, even our general manager was certified CMRP and CRL. This is a kind of, this is a 3, 4 years old slide. I talked to one of this new guy, young Jesse. He came. So I asked him, what do you think the value of certification? We hired him as a vibration analyst. So he got vibration in a couple of years, 2, 3 years, he got those. Then he got MRT. Then he started working on CMRP. And on the left side, you see what he said, validation level of knowledge, provides an indication of value of your work to the company, personal satisfaction, and provides achievable concrete career milestone. That's what his view. Now, I got another one. This is the asset owner. You can call him small plant manager, about 150 people working for him. He had a big experience, 23 years that time. Now he's about 30, almost, about 28 years now. Now, he said it provides validation of knowledge of maintenance and reliability practices. This was when he got his CMRP. You know what he got out of that. So this, to me, really tells you what you know. And again, another part is after you got it, you have to apply that knowledge. Challenges. Most of us came from maintenance background, many of us. We're still working maintenance. There's always pressure for us to fix things quickly. We don't have time to analyze and find root causes. We have not a good data available. We need robust maintenance and asset management process. What I found, we don't get involved or too late to get involved in a whole asset development phase. Don't have enough resources, lack of skilled work. These are kind of challenges we are going through right now. So, what I've learned over the years, we need to have discipline in our process, system approach. We need to establish like something like asset management process using ISO 55000 framework. We need to implement best practices. No, standards are the best practices. Implementation of standard makes process robust. Again, this lesson learned. Just saying that you're going to have a standard or implement a best practice won't happen till you have a right culture. You have to establish a right culture. You have to apply change management principle to buy in from all the stakeholders. You have to get everybody involved. Everybody should understand, apply, comply with asset management principles. Again, what I have found over the years, yeah, we'll do it. That we'll do never comes. Even today, what you learn today, take a moment, today, tomorrow. See, what did you learn by today's talk? And try to see if you can apply one or two things, how you can do that. Organizations exist to deliver value to its customer. Asset play a key role in delivering value, producing product and providing services, delivering on time. Unreliable asset cannot deliver value. They cannot produce. They cannot meet the need. They cannot meet the schedules. Something practiced like just in time, lean, etc., are unsustainable if you don't have asset management process working or best practices, application standards, best practices make the processes deliver the more value. Operation becomes more safer, asset becomes more reliable. Having a reliability culture of excellence is essential to implement best practices. Implementing best practices like standards, implementing them, and then getting them, your people, getting them certified, having a certification is helps to do that. So implement standard best practices to have a business success. These are the acknowledgement or the material. Most of this material is in my Major Reliability Best Practice third edition, which is out, and workbook is coming, and a dictionary, and 10 Rights of Asset Management, which my friend Terence and I wrote, and also my notes from US Tech 251 ISO committee, which I'm part of that. I'm proud of that. I'm still serving that committee. So that's my nickel today. And I think, Heather, can you speak or you still have a problem?
I can hear you. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
still we can't hear you. Okay. So, well, what I can do is I can read a couple of questions. And I got a couple of minutes, 3, 4 minutes left. Okay, Mr. How to change what culture, I mean, importance and implementation of asset management. Well, good question. Changing your culture takes time. Implementing reliability. I started in mid 80s, failed because didn't understand why I want to do RCM process. Late 80s started, mid early 90s started. Once I started working the culture means everybody understand what's the value you're going to get from top to bottom. You may have to bring people from outside to talk to the people, all the stakeholders. It takes 2, 5, 8 years to change the culture when people understand why you want to do this. And if you don't have right culture, improvement won't stick. They will go away. This will become the logo of the month, the program of the month, and it's kind of it's problem. So you have to create the right culture where everybody's involved, understand value they're going to get. What's for them? You have to create. Why planner has to plan the job? What's him? And if he or she is doing a job, how that's helping the availability of asset, how is helping the profitability, how the is helping the quality of work, all those kind of things. Everyone who's who are doing their work, whatever they are doing, whether they're planning, scheduling, or welding, whatever they are doing it's they have to understand what's for them, how is it going to help them. Okay, that's a kind of creating right. Other question, hi, escape just what is meaning of Sherpa? Well, they have given a nickname to Sherpa. Some of you may know when you climb the mountain, like Mount Everest, the people cannot go. They have to get somebody guidance, help from those people who help those guys who are going to climb there called Sherpas. They know their way around how to get there. What are the obstacles they're going to hit? They help the people to get rid of those obstacles. They help them get to the Mount Everest at the peak. That's what my friend in industry, they have nicknamed me because I've been doing that kind of thing in my company and other places, help people to get there where they want to be, to reach the reliability peak. That's the reason they gave me this. That's what Sherpa means. Look into Google it, Sherpa. You'll find something more. Hassan Kasari, I am CM CAMA certified. How can I use this knowledge to help my company and myself? Great. Whether you are CMRP or CMRP, CAMA, or whatever you are, you have to ensure that you are using that knowledge. Means start somewhere. Take something you want to implement and work on it. Try to think about it. How you going to put an implementation plan? Who are the stakeholders? Talk to them. Work with them. See and try to work in small area. Show some benefits. Then slowly you are going to get there. Lot of good question. I think Heather, maybe you can make a note of these questions and send me, and I can talk in my question answer question that time. It's a lot of good questions are there. Okay.
That sounds great.
Well, you got a couple of minutes left, and I think I don't know what else. How can someone get ISO 55000 certification? What study material needed to pass this certification? You don't need it. I mean, buy 55,000. Set up those books. Read it. What certification means. What kind of a process you have to set up in your company to get certified 55,001. Okay. So it's a lot of you have to do the reading, understanding what 55,000 mean. Then you have to set up the process to your place. It's not individual certification 55,000 that you're going to get. This is a plant certification 55,000. Okay. Okay. I think that's what time is up.
Yes. You're all set.
Sorry, Heather, you had a problem. Again, some people said they can listen to you, but I can't.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, fellows, thank you very much, and I hope you got something, and we'll see you in some other time. Okay, thank you very much. Great.
Thank you. I just put the link to the Slack community in the chat as well. So feel free to hop on over there. I'm making note of all of these questions, and I'll send them over to Ramesh. We'll incorporate them into our next Q&A session that we have with him and get your questions answered. Thank you again for making the time today. I apologize for the slight technical troubles, and we'll see you all next time.